AI is involved in all of the conversations. It's a matter of like, where do we go? How do we do it responsibly?
It's so interesting too, because we've been discussing here about this fear sometimes of, is it going to replace me? Is it going to take my job?
Welcome to the Shift into Profit podcast, where leaders come to evolve, teams come to improve, and dealerships come to grow. Every episode delivers the insights you need to transform your people and maximize your performance. Let's shift your store into a new level of profit.
Hey, what's going on, Automotive Nation? It's Jason Harris here, and thank you for joining me on another episode of Shift into Profit, where I get to talk to anybody and everybody I want to talk to and what it takes to shift our businesses into higher profitable levels. Today, I got a great guest with me. Actually, I got an opportunity to listen to this guy speak this morning, and I was like, hey, we got to talk for a minute. But I have Chaz Wilson with me. Chaz, how are you today?
I'm awesome. So good.
Hey, man, thanks for taking the time to come jam with me.
I'm honored.
We were talking a little bit before we started recording, kind of like what the podcast is and who we are. And like most people out there watching and listening right now, they're at a dealership. They're in some type of leadership capacity. And AI is involved in all of the conversations. It's a matter of like, where do we go? How do we do it responsibly? We're here in San Francisco. We're at the CORA event. That's CORA. That's Council of Responsible AI. Yes. So we appreciate you taking the time to come chat with us today. I really appreciate that.
Yeah, it's so interesting too, because we've been discussing here about where this gap is, right? Mm-hmm. Like, because there's this fear sometimes of, is it going to replace me? Is it going to take my job? What's it going to look like? And so I think I love what the professor said last night. He said the irresponsible thing is to do nothing.
There you go. Right.
And so how can we do that as a leader? How can we dive in and learn? First off, that's what I did. So for instance, for me, I have 4 companies, and I looked at all my team members and I was like, I've got to know what this is. I've got to have an understanding. And then I looked at it from the responsibility part of, how could I make AI be the force multiplier for my people, right? I look at, there's different levels of value. There's people in my workforce who are the implementer, then there's the unifier.
Yep.
And then there's 2 more levels. But when I looked at these 2 levels, I said, if I can help this person who's typically the implementer right now be the unifier, and let AI be the implementer.
The productivity and the efficiency that comes from that is huge.
Right. And so now I can do more work with the same amount of people. It's not about how many people can I cut. It's about how much more profit can we get out of this process if we could take AI to be the force multiplier.
Well, and I think for a lot of the people out there watching, listening around, that is what the conversations that they're having right now. They're in charge of a service department, or they're overseeing a sales department. And here's the thing: this industry, we've talked about it all the time, is a people business, and that's never going to go away. It is definitely going to be a people business, but it's arming them and educating them. So I guess here's my question for all the dealers out there listening right now that that are looking at their team, and I bet you some of their team members now are using AI. Maybe they don't even know, either helping them write emails or identifying marketing opportunities, so on and so forth. Where does a business start? What's just 101? Where do we just start? What does those conversations look like?
Well, let me say one other thing too. Your customer's certainly using it.
Oh, that's true. There you
go.
The
customer's definitely using it.
100%.
We were just talking about this last night when we were networking, was that the consumer and the customers coming in, and they're armed with all this data.
Yes.
And so I think where to start is, let's just say sales, right? I'll just talk sales. I have a sales team, and one of the things we've done is we've created our sales format inside of a large language model. We use Claude, but that could change next week. I don't know. Right? And so that's what we're using. So we've put that large language model to work for us by saying, here's all of the sales presentations. Here's the model for that.
There you go.
And then when we're done, we immediately, as soon as we're done with a customer, we'll go back in and say, these were the conversations. Here was the objections. Here's the thing.
You stepped up to the plate. You swung the bat. Yep.
Exactly. And then just give me some things. And I have been amazed at how accurate to what we're trying to accomplish it is. And then we use it for role play. Like, hey, I'll be the customer. And now I don't need a person to do it. I can just do it with my AI.
Off of that interaction.
Yeah. Sometimes I'll just turn it on the audio and even drive to the office or whatever. I can just role play a conversation back and forth. So there's just some really simple ways. I would just start using AI. We've used it for sales training. We'll put in our sales scripts and our models and objection handlers, and our sales team will come after a call and just throw in, hey, here's the objection I got. Here's where it didn't close. Now, if we're online, again, this isn't always the case if you're doing sales in person. You could also just record it. You could put your phone down and record your conversation, and then upload that into to Claude or whatever you're using, and then have it scrape against your model and say, give me areas of improvement. And just that alone is a way to start coaching your team.
And there's huge findings in that, right?
Yeah.
I mean, just to first, just quickly identify. Here's what I think we have in our industry is we talk a lot about what we have accomplished.
Yeah.
It's because that's what we've known, right? That is what the data that has been presented. Yeah. We haven't been able to effectively see on a per interaction basis what could have been accomplished. And I think, for a lot of you guys out there watching, listening now, that is one of the biggest opportunities when it comes to using AI, is not just identifying what has been accomplished, but what's the roof? Because I think for a lot of us out there, we don't know.
Well, what was said last night in our meeting here was creativity. How do we unleash creativity, right? And so one of the reasons that we people, sometimes our sales teams or our service teams or whatever, they're not using AI is because they think if I use it, I'll be replaced, or if I don't use it, I might be replaced.
There's a fear.
Right. And so as a leader, I've got to instill in them that I know I want you to use AI. We actually took in our teams, which I know isn't possible in every business, but we took half a day and we brought everyone in.
Sure.
And we have people all over the world. So we had Zoom meetings and stuff like that. When we sat down and we said, let's pick one workflow. What's one thing we could do? We all kind of collectively had it. And then we solved it as a group, how we could solve that workflow with AI. And then they saw the process to that.
I love that.
It was so cool. And now they went, I could do that with what I do. And because they saw me do it, they know I'm behind it and I'm supportive of it, not because I want to replace them. And I keep articulating that.
Well, it's funny. I love that you bring that up. For a lot of you out there watching and listening to the podcast for years, I've always talked about the little things meeting, which as an operator, I think is one of the best meetings you can constantly have. And that is a perfect place to bring that from an AI perspective, of bringing those little things, and from an AI perspective, how can we improve that? Ask it. It's got the data there, and it just ultimately gets us better. Okay, I know we're getting towards the tail end of our conversation. I know we kick these nice and sweet, but I got to ask, what do you drive?
What do I drive? I drive a Ram 1500. That's what I drive.
Okay, so you're a car guy.
I mean, I listen. It's funny. It's actually, I keynote speak all over the world, and I talk about. I have a great story. I won't share it here, but for time. But I'm actually not so much a car guy. I want my car to work. I grew up not people grew up poorer than I did, but I didn't grow up with any kind of wealth by any stretch. And we used to have, my parents used to have a truck that started with a screwdriver. And when you turned it off, it would shake. And it would sometimes even move a whole parking space over. My parents would park way in the back of the parking lot. And so we always joke, it's like we literally rolled into a parking spot. Everyone got out and walked away because that car would shake, and we didn't want to be seen near it. And so we had doors that would fly open on the side if you took a turn too hard. Like, that's kind of the cars I grew up with. So for me, it's like, does it get me there? Is it reliable? Can it get me back? That's really what I'm looking for. I'm not much beyond that. It's the truth.
So you're a car buyer. You've been in dealerships.
Yes.
A lot of times on this podcast, we talk about the process. We talk about the experience.
Yeah.
In your experience with car dealers, what is one piece of advice that you would give them to better that customer journey?
This is so good because I've recently purchased 2 vehicles.
Oh, okay, so this is perfect time.
I have 5 children. They're all drivers.
Oh my gosh, dude.
Yeah, you want to know my insurance? My insurance? Crazy. That's a whole nother podcast. But I'll tell you what's really, really important. One is make it smooth and simple. Listen to the customer. I know the sales game. Look, I get it, but listen to the customer. So I love feeling seen and heard.
Sure.
Like every other customer.
I was going to say, we all do, yeah.
We all do. I don't feel like, I want you to feel like you're helping me with my agenda. I'm not helping you with your agenda. Right? And I've been in both of those situations. We actually just walked away from a deal because the salesperson, just the bottom line is the salesperson, I felt like they were trying to push me somewhere. I was very clear. I do not want to go.
No one wants to be sold.
No, and that's not where I'm asking. That's not where I want to go. You're making it more difficult. You're making it longer. This doesn't need to be like a 5-hour timeshare sale. Like, let's get this done, right? And I was as easy a buyer as could be. And he also prejudged me very, very hard, saying, you need this type of vehicle. And I'm like, because he assumed I couldn't afford this one. Ooh, big mistake. And we went somewhere else, and we got the deal done in, I think, 90 minutes, and we were out the door.
You know what's funny? My interactions with AI, I think AI is actually a better sales because they're always so encouraging.
Yeah, right.
It's a great idea. Yeah. That would be a wonderful vehicle. Yeah. Oh, you have 5 kids? Like there's that, I guess, curiosity or that intuitive, like, tell me more that is built in so many of the AI models. I'm like, hey, sales guys, just literally go talk to an AI, have it sell you a car. That's pretty darn close. But you're right. We have to be more personable. And to your point, going back to what we were originally talking about, of being able to capture those conversations and analyze those and be able to see just, from how we handle objections to the customer sentiment, like did the customer actually enjoy the conversation, or were we just assuming they enjoyed the experience? So
Can I just add one quick thing to that?
please.
I mentioned this in our keynote here, but for your audience, one of the things I talked about in how we're winning in all of our companies right now is we're winning in those gaps, winning in the in-between. And so if you can find ways to win, and I mean, they can be simple. I'll give you a life example, right? We were there, this was a different sale than the one I was talking about. We were there for quite a few hours, and that was mostly us because we were deciding between different vehicles, right?
Sure.
The salesperson, this is where he won with my wife for sure. He could tell we'd been there a while. It was a hot day, and we'd been there a while. And he went out and said, "Hey, what's your favorite sandwich?" And he ordered us lunch.
Yeah.
And I thought, I've been
Make
to
it
so
comfortable.
I've been to so many places, and you could say, well, his motive was, he wanted to get the deal done. Great. So did we, by the way.
Yeah.
So did
Yeah,
we.
exactly.
So
right?
did we.
100%.
And the fact that he's just like, hey, I could tell you're hungry. It's been a while. Let me just get you lunch. Figure it out. I have yet to experience that in many other opportunities, and that guy was phenomenal. So,
Well, see, and I like that because, for a lot of you out there watching, listening, that's a process, right? This isn't something that just happened by accident. Someone at some point decided, hey, this is a concern. It's a little thing that's causing friction in the experience. Let's quickly map something super simple. And the process was, all right, we will let our team order lunch for customers at whatever moment. See, that's amazing.
yeah, and I don't know if that was a directive overall or just him, but it didn't matter for us.
That's true.
It was in a gap.
Yes.
He saw there was a thing there, and he took the opportunity. He was aware enough to say, hey, I could just keep pushing this through. But we had other things we were trying to figure out. And so he just he removed that as a barrier. It was phenomenal.
Well, and that's where great customer experiences are created, are in those gaps, finding those gaps, identifying those gaps, having those little things, meetings, and making the experience better. Hey, Chaz, for everybody out there watching and listening now who would love to connect, maybe learn more about your company and what you do, what's the best way to do so?
Probably the easiest way is just connect with me on LinkedIn. Chaz Wilson, ChasWilson. You search me, you'll find me. Probably the only Chaz with red hair. I'm a keynote speaker. I own business consulting, business networking companies, software companies for small businesses. So this is my passion, my love. So pretty much you search me, you'll find me. I have a unique name and a unique look, so I'm pretty easy to find.
That's awesome. Yeah. Hey, guys, thank you so much for taking the time to check out this episode. We appreciate you. Look, one of the biggest compliments you can give us as content creators is share the show, okay? If you have a colleague or a friend or a manager that needs to see some portion of today's conversation, share the show. It makes you a hero. Chaz, thank you so much, man.
Thank you, man.
I appreciate it.
Thank you.
You guys have yourself a great day.
Thanks for tuning in to Shift into Profit, the podcast where we break down the people, processes, and technology that turn dealerships into profit machines. If today's conversation helped you, share the show and help another operator win. And we'll see you in the next episode.